Actually, the Chaka Khan I Feel For You video is a derivative of another video that I choreographed for Norma Kamali called Street Beat. And they actually, what they did was that they used the footage from that video, that fashion video. That's why we're wearing a lot of Norma Kamali clothing or fashions. And intercut Chaka Khan in that video, along with the glove. See, so basically, we never really worked, face to face with her. We worked electronically, digitally with Chaka Khan.
Hey, and this was back in the mid-'80s, editing magic, huh?
Yeah, editing magic, exactly.
All right, and then at that point, you had Flashdance, I believe. I think they had somebody from the Rocksteady crew play Jennifer Bill's dance double in the big finale. And
yes.
Breakdancing, of course, was everywhere.
Right.
And now you also did choreography for the 3-6 Mafia performance of It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp at the 78th Annual Academy Awards.
Actually, it was the 79th Academy Awards, and it was the It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. And what I was on that, I was an associate choreographer. I worked alongside a friend of mine. His name is Keith. Keith choreographed the film Rent. So that was a collaboration. He was familiar with my background as a dancer and doing big production and musical type numbers, and thought, hey, it would be really cool if we did something together, and we did that together, and it turned out pretty fantastic. I mean, and the fact that the 3-6 Mafia won that Oscar, so it's another piece of history, another historical stripe I can add to my resume.
Mm-hmm. Another notch in the belt.
Yeah, so to speak, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go back to your Soul Train days, and I'll talk about the influence that Tyrone Proctor and Jeffrey Daniel of Shalimar has had on your dancing skills. Well,
first of all, Tyrone Proctor and Jeffrey Daniels never had an impact on my dancing skills. It was the opposite. Mm-hmm. They came after me. I think he maybe even concurrently was maybe Tyrone Proctor, but Tyrone Proctor wasn't doing the type of dancing that I was doing. Mm-hmm. There was a few different cliques on Soul Train. One was the locking clique, and then there was another contingency on Soul Train. It was head by a group of guys. One, namely, was Mod Rod and Niles and Little Joe Chisholm and those types. Then there was Pat Davis, along with James Phillips and Demeter Joe Freeman and my sister, Fawn, who also was one of the early lockers in the beginning. And so they really kind of came along within the Soul Train movement, but they were not my influences. It was the other way around. And then later on, Jeffrey Daniels was introduced to Soul Train along with Jody Wadley, but they came on after the Lockers had already turned professional and had left the show, really. Mm-hmm. So they really kind of came through Tyrone Proctor's bloodline, so to speak.
Okay.
And Tyrone Proctor kind of came through, Little Joe Chisholm's bloodline, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So two different kinds, two different classes.
Right. Growing up watching Soul Train, I'm sure everybody done pulled back the furniture and started to do the dance moves so they could have it right by Friday night's homecoming dance.
Oh, yeah. Soul Train was, in those days, was kind of like the black people's internet. That's when we got to see what other people were doing around the country. And it connected black people in such a way that had never really been done before, mm-hmm. On a grand scale. I mean, I danced on the original Soul Train in Chicago, where it started. But when it went national in Los Angeles, that kind of like opened the door. And what people don't realize is during those days, we the Soul Train game, we would all get fan mail. So we would get fan mail. So Soul Train had made stars out of us. Mm-hmm. And we were able to communicate with other dancers around the world. Like one of the shows, one thing I remember, and I have to say, there's one special show that I have to mention that I had the pleasure of working on was the Lockers. We were one of the judges on one of the Soul Train contests. annual contest. And one of the contestants was Sweetness from the Chicago Bears.
Walter Payton.
Walter Payton.
Wow.
I think maybe Walter Payton won that show.
I think he did. So
yeah, he was locking too.
Wow, who knew Sweetness had the moves on and off the field?
I mean, no, he was doing it then. He did some pretty amazing stuff. He was very, in terms of his style, was very reminiscent of like Don Campbell. Very physical, acrobatic, agile. So it's no wonder that he'd be the kind of person that he was on the football field, because he certainly could dance.
Right.
And as it turns out, with this gentleman, the football player who won Dancing with the Stars, Emmitt Smith. Mm-hmm. Emmitt Smith proved that athletes, really do have the moves.
Mm-hmm. He definitely did. And now, what is your opinion on America's Best Dance Crew?
Well, I think it's a great show. I think it's great for the movement. I think it's about time that they've done that, and I think they can stand to make more of them. I think that, of course, it's a bit homogenized, and I think to reach a broader audience, that's a creative choice that they made. But I don't think that necessarily hurts the show. I think it's a great show. I like Mario Lopez as the host of the show, and I like the talent that I've seen on the show, and so. At the end of the day, I think it's a great show, and I think that people should watch it, and it's important that we support it. Mm. And I wish it a long and prosperous, successful run.
Right. And now, do you still keep in touch with anybody from the Breakin cast?
The only one I do is Anna Lollipop Sanchez. Mm-hmm. She's kind of like my little sister, and she's my former student and danced with me for many years. So. And here and there, now and again, I will see other members, but no, I don't maintain a relationship with them. No.
Okay, so what advice would you have for anybody that wants to get into the dancing business, choreography, and going out and doing auditions for various videos, dancing?